Is buying Coca-Cola a mistake? Maybe you drink every day one glass Coca-Cola, right? It is absolutely the most favorite drink of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett famously consumes 5 cans of Coke a day. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm 1/4 Coca-Cola, the 92-year-old investor told Fortune in 2015, explaining the drink accounts for 25% of his daily calorie intake. Good to know. Berkshire spent in 1988 $1.3 billion to amass its 400 million Coca-Cola shares, a position it hasn't touched in 27 years. Coca-Cola's stock price has climbed 2% this year to a near-record high about $61, valuing Berkshire's stake at $24.2 billion, an almost 19-fold gain. But do you know why Warren Buffett sees Coke as one of his biggest mistakes in history? If you want to know what's the reason about this mistake, keep watching the video till the end. Let me make a deep dive in the history of Coca-Cola and Warren Buffett. 1886, the birth of a refreshing idea. The product that has given the world its best-known taste was born in Atlanta, Georgia on May 8, 1886. Dr. John Stiff Pemberton, a local pharmacist, produced the syrup for Coca-Cola and carried a jug of the new product down the street to Jacob's Pharmacy, where it was sampled, pronounced excellent, and placed on sale for 5 cents a glass as a soda fountain drink. Carbonated water was teamed with the new syrup to produce a drink that was at once delicious and refreshing, a theme that continues to echo today wherever Coca-Cola is enjoyed. 1935, the first experience for Warren with Coca-Cola. I believe I had my first Coca-Cola in either 1935 or 1936. Of a certainty, it was in 1936 that I started buying Cokes at the rate of 6 for 25 cents from Buffett & Son, the family grocery store, to sell around the neighborhood for 5 cents each. In this excursion into high-margin retailing, I duly observed the extraordinary consumer attractiveness and commercial possibilities of the product. Warren continued to note these qualities for the next 52 years as Coke blanketed the world. During this period, however, he carefully avoided buying even a single share, instead allocating major portions off my net worth to street railway companies, windmill manufacturers, anthracite producers, textile businesses, trading stamp, and the like. Warren Buffett. If you think I'm making this up, I can supply the names. In the 1960s, Buffett shared a street in Omaha with Don Keogh, a coffee salesman who, in 1960, turned down a partnership with Buffett when the future magnate asked for $10,000. At that time, Buffett was not the established Oracle of Omaha he is today, and so lacked a conventional job. As a result, Keogh turned down the partnership offer. Though he missed allowing that money to grow into the millions, Keogh found success after his company was bought by Coca-Cola in 1964. He rose through the ranks to become president and chief operating officer by 1981. 4 years later, he read that article about Buffett's love of Pepsi. Keogh jumped into action. Though Cherry Coke was still in development, Keogh wrote to Buffett with promises of samples he described as nectar of the gods. A year after that article, outlining Buffett's loyalty to Pepsi, Buffett announced major changes for his personal life and for Berkshire Hathaway. An announcement to his shareholders broke the shocking news. After 48 years of allegiance to another soft drink, your chairman, in an unprecedented display of behavioral flexibility, has converted to the new Cherry Coke. Henceforth, it will be the official drink of the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting. Warren Buffett sees Coke as one of his biggest mistakes of omission. Berkshire bought 23 million shares of Coca-Cola in 1988 and 1989, when the market was still recovering from the Black Monday crash of 1987. Buffett paid an average price of $43.81 per share, or 15 times Coca-Cola's earnings per share (EPS) in 1988. That price-to-earnings ratio can make it a deep value stock, but Buffett believed it was undervalued relative to its growth potential. After all, Coca-Cola was already an evergreen brand that had dominated the beverage market for decades before Berkshire bought its first shares. It's a forever stock. In Berkshire's 1988 shareholder letter, Buffett said he planned to hold Coca-Cola and its other latest investments for a long time. He also explained that when we own portions of outstanding businesses with outstanding managements, our favorite holding period is forever. The company has grappled with declining soda consumption over the past decade, but it's largely offset that pressure by buying and developing new brands of juices, teas, sports drinks, bottled water, coffee, and even alcoholic beverages. It's also consistently refreshed its carbonated drinks with new flavors, smaller serving sizes, and healthier sugar-free versions. That's why Coca-Cola's annual revenue rose from $8.3 billion in 1988 to $38.7 billion in 2021, representing a steady compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 5%, even as sales of its namesake product stagnated. About his mistake, Warren Buffett said, "Of course, we should have started buying Coke much earlier, soon after Roberto and Don began running things. In fact, if I'd have been thinking straight, I would have persuaded my grandfather to sell the grocery store back in 1936 and put all of the proceeds into Coca-Cola stock. I've learned my lesson. My response time to the next glaringly attractive idea will be slashed to well under 50 years. And for now, it's one of his biggest dividend king." Coca-Cola has raised its dividend annually for 60 straight years, making it a dividend king. It's tough to join that elite club, which only consists of the S&P 500 companies that have raised their payouts annually for at least 50 straight years, because paying consistent dividends for decades requires a company to generate stable profits through countless crises and recessions. Coca-Cola currently pays a healthy forward dividend yield of 2.8%. Therefore, Berkshire's 400 million shares of the company now net a whopping $704 million in dividend payments each year. That was it for today. We hope you learned a lot about Warren's mistake with the Coke stock. The question we have to you: do you think Coca-Cola is one of the best dividend stocks in the world?